Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Oliver. Thanks, everyone, for confirming you can hear me. Getting close to 9:30. I will go through my my morning routine here. Thursday, April 16th. A couple of things to know before the market opens. Just general things I'd like to read to give you an idea. Not necessarily for a bias, but just give you an idea of where the market is going in the morning. Oftentimes, many of these things are already known. If you're getting your information from X or different sources. Anyway, stock futures inch higher as market aims to extend rally. Surprised I haven't talked about it, but yeah, it's an incredible move, all-time highs again. One of the largest and quickest moves I've ever seen. Let's bring this into to the daily chart here on SPY. Let's look at the daily. There you go. So this was all-time high back in January, and then pretty massive pullback. You know, how much of a pullback was it from the highs? Oops. There you go. So it was almost a 10% pullback, and has regained and is now punching up above, and it's not a sweep, just above. It could still be just a sweep, and we could reverse from here, but not a prediction. Just an incredible move over the last little while. Long-term investors that didn't sell, that didn't panic, are probably loving this move. Let's just minimize. Oil rises as investors keep tabs on Iran, so oil is very volatile right now. Netflix has earnings after the close tonight at 4 p.m. And Spirit Airlines having problems. Pepsi announced earnings this morning and had good earnings. As far as the economic calendar is concerned, I didn't see anything this morning other than the jobs. Initial jobs claims came in at 8:30. I didn't see much of a spike or I didn't see much happening there. It came in a little bit better than expected. So that's somewhat good news, I guess. And earnings we talked about. I'm going to be talking about different trades that worked and didn't work. Yesterday, the Golden Zone worked incredibly well. I took one in pre-market yesterday, which I already discussed. So I will go through these. And for anybody who's trading the open, good luck. And then I took a trade this morning, MES Golden Zone short in pre-market at 738 for a -1R. So let's start with that. MES on the 30-minute, I was actually on the 5. So this was London high. Yeah, so this was London high. Let's just take it out of there. So I started my fib there because we really started selling there. I stopped it where we started buying over here. It pulled back up. I had an alert set near the 50. Once the alert went off, I went on to a 2-minute, and it put in this wick over here, but then it didn't break down right away. And I didn't really like it, but then it put in this bearish candle over here. I took it short with the stop above the wick here. Took it short into a fairly large bullish candle here, and then it reversed and stopped me out over here. So this was -1R for me on MES this morning. But then basically the same pattern showed up on MNQ. So MNQ started the fibs, or the fibs, or this is the tool I've been using, but it's the 50% retracement is something I've been using for a long time. But I really like the way that Amal shared it, and I've highlighted this golden zone. So this is what I was looking at this morning. Started the selling, right? This was impulse selling, and then right over here we started buying. I set an alert at the 50. Once the 50 hit, I zoomed into the 2-minute time frame. It put in this wick over here. So I went in with a really tight stop right above the wick here. And as I went in, I basically just put in my take profit at 3R. And within a minute, it just zipped down there, took the profit, and then wicked down just a tiny bit, and then went back up. So this is one of those times I'm very happy that I had my 3R set, because I would have been taken out at minus 1R over here. So this was +3, -1 on MES, so up 2 right now. I like trading pre-market and aftermarket because it's usually slower. I don't like trading the first half hour. So for now, I'm done until 10 a.m. where I will start looking at things again. INTC, massive 5-minute candle in formation. So let's look at INTC. Wow, that's a big drop. A lot of profit taking on Apple here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this in the market, but not happening in with AMD. Taiwan Semiconductors reported earnings. TSM reported earnings yesterday. Actually, I thought it was this morning, but this is showing as yesterday during the day. And the earnings were actually good, 500 million surprise, but it pulled down. And now we're starting to see a little bit of strength come in. So that might be the reason why we're seeing this massive push in AMD. NVIDIA, not much going on. INTC is pushing up. By the way, the RVOL indicator here is not working properly, so please disregard this. I did not have time to tweak it yesterday. I'll try to do it today. AMD, all-time high, 269.79. If anybody knows if it's got news. So yeah, big push on INTC above yesterday's high, above pre-market high. This could be a nice setup for a break and retest. It seems to have happened very quickly, so it broke and is retesting this level. It's a little bit too fast for me, especially that it's still in the first 6 minutes of the open. But we might see another push over here. And INTC has just been ripping over the last couple of weeks, right? From right, the lows. The last time we looked at it over here was Tuesday the 7th. So just over a week, and it is up considerably since then. Oops. I'm in trouble with this tool. There we go. But now I can't. There you go. All right. So up 30% since last Tuesday. That's a pretty incredible move on INTC. So anybody who invested in that or is swing trading it, I'm sure they're doing well. AMD and INTC related moves. Yeah, I don't know if it's on TSM and their earnings yesterday, but incredible moves nonetheless. Let's go back to the 30-minute, pulling back on Tesla. Are we seeing the same thing on the 30-minute here on the Qs? There seems to be some profit taking over here, right? But this is just pushing up and possibly retesting this level, possibly for the next move up. So that's why I want to see what's going to happen in the first half hour. Oh, and the other thing I was going to share, let me go back to this. What was the other thing? Yesterday, the long on oil. Let's go back to oil over here. And this was, let's go back to a 5-minute. And let's hit the replay. There you go. So this was the fib that I had put on from the open. Right, so it seemed like we had support and we were buying from this point, and then we reversed right over here. Once it got into the 50% zone, you can switch, or what I do is I switch over to a 2-minute. I like the 5-minute as well. The 5-minute here was the entry on this one. So it wicked down, then punched up, made a new high. But if you zoom into the 2 minutes, sometimes you can get a better entry as far as putting your stop. But for this one, I put the stop down at the bottom of the zone. That's always the most conservative stop that you can put in. And then aim for 3R. So that's the way that I do it. It's not necessarily the best way, but it works well for me. And there you go. So that was a 3R on the crude. If I'm not mistaken, what did it do after this? After this retest, I think it went back up, didn't it? It doesn't really matter. What I was looking at was the first touch here and trying to get 3R out of it. And like I said, this one worked. I did not take it. It was just something I was looking at. What was the other one? The other one was gold that I was talking about right before getting out. There it is, right before 10:30. I was talking about this this gold short. It didn't line up exactly like I like it, so I did not take it, but I know that some people took it in the room. Let's replay and look at the cam levels again. Sorry, not the cams, but the fibs. We started selling over here and then started buying right here. This is where it came back into the 50 to 61.8 zone, right in here. So if you go into a 2-minute, what I like to see is a wick. And I remember talking about this. It was right before, it was in here actually, that I was talking about it at 10:30, right? Or maybe it wasn't, but I think I was talking about this one, or maybe it was with somebody. Oh, it was with somebody else. It was with one of my students after the session. I was talking about the fact that I didn't like that it didn't wick into it. But if you were to look at this area of rejection, it did put in a wick here, then it really started selling here. So if you had gone in at the selling here with the stop above the highest point, this one also would have worked. And like I said, I think some people, hopefully I'm not mistaken, but I think some people did take it and it did get to the 3R. If something can work more often than not, it can be profitable, even with a 2-to-1, right? So I tend to aim for 3-to-1, and this one worked really well. Trading View, MES, I don't know if that's an old, yeah, it must have been an older alert. Oops. There we go. I had an alert on MES here, but it's to be ignored. And first, 12 minutes, and we seem to be selling a bit. I'm going to remove my drawings here because I don't want it to be confusing. We are selling right now, so I could start my fib at the selling, and I will stop it if we find buyers, maybe at PDC or pre-market low. I'll just put it here for now. And this is the way that I'm trading futures right now. I'm also looking at break and retest. So on the 30-minute, right now, we've got this zone of chop with big long wicks. So difficult to trade a break and retest looking at the 30-minute. Go to a smaller time frame. We've got a bit of a rectangle here. Right. So if it were to break below pre-market low and then retest, it might be a short opportunity. Otherwise, it would have to break above the high. Pre-market high is calculated at 4 a.m., by the way. This is post-market yesterday. So if we were to break up, punch up above R3 here and retest, it could be a long. So the only two things I'm going to be looking at right now are the possibility of a retest into the golden zone if we start buying for a continuation short, but I'd be looking at PDC and PML as targets. Tony, you're the one that took the was it on crude? Oh, I forgot to do something here. There we go. There we go. And that into this room. Gold yesterday. It was gold. So gold. This was another setup. This was the setup I was talking about. So the one on crude worked as well, but gold, I think, is what I was talking about. What did I just show? Did I just show crude? No, I showed gold, I think. Sorry, I'm a little bit discombobulated. Don't remember what I showed, but you know what? They're all the same pattern. So from the open on gold here, came down, started buying, rejected the 50% to 61.8% golden zone. Once it rejected this, I like the fact that on a 5-minute, we were going into a 5-minute fair value gap. So there was a lot of selling here. It held. Tony and others took this trade and it went down to the 3R pretty quickly, right? Within a half hour, I guess. So awesome trade. Tony, were you the one that was talking about a tool for TradingView for position sizing when I was sharing my position sizing yesterday? Because I sent you a DM. Right when I was showing this, somebody, and I couldn't access the chat after the fact yesterday, so I didn't know if it was you. If it was, what you didn't DM me. Pretty sure I did, unless Tony L right there. Hey Tony, were you the one in the chat today that was talking about position sizing in TradingView? Tony. Yeah, thanks. I just I don't want to say your Discord name on here, but that's the thing. We're working with two different tools here, so I'm pretty sure that's you. But if not, then we'll if you can send me a DM, that'd be great. I'd like to talk to you about it because obviously I use the long and short tool a lot, but you were talking about the possibility of using a tool that acts almost like the fixed risk hotkey on DOS. And considering I got rid of DOS, I would love to hear what you've got, and then I'd love to share it in here. So, Evo, are you seeing anything?
Good morning, Jill. Not so much on my end. I'm just looking at AMD and INTC, waiting for some pullback on INTC. I don't like the pullback on AMD so much as I do on INTC, because I don't like to see an inverted green hammer print kind of near the high. So I think on AMD, so I think AMD needs a little more time to percolate, whereas INTC, so far the pullback I like better. So I'm just waiting for that to pull back. But I'm not liking the market right now. We're sort of range bound, so I'm kind of sitting with my hands in my back pocket.
I think people are looking at this and saying, "Oh, okay, when's the pullback coming?" Right? Even you know, there was a gap over here, a daily gap over here, like between, like a jump between, what was this, Monday and Tuesday. And then we touched the low of Tuesday on Wednesday, and now we're here again. Excuse me. I think we need to find some buyers over here, and I think we need to find some people with FOMO to buy in this area, because we are at all-time highs again. Personally, I'd be expecting, if I were investing right now, not a trade, but if I were investing, I'd be waiting for a pullback before getting in, just for a little bit of a better entry. Don't get me wrong. If I'd be investing, I'd probably be dollar cost averaging, and I would have been buying all the way along, on the way down, on the way up. Right, that's my investing strategy. So anyway, thanks for sharing that on INTC. AMD, like you said, this candle, even though it's green, this is a bearish candle. I like the fact that we broke down below that bearish candle and possibly trapped some shorts, and we're reversing from here. So what I prefer to see is a little bit of a longer wick, right? And then see some increased volume for the continuation move up on AMD. Apple, I don't know if it's got news. What's going on with Apple? Former Apple exec leaves Ford in tech reorganization. Former Apple exec, that has nothing to do with Apple. And then the S&P 500 just surged to a record high despite a war. Why it may keep rising. Okay, again, nothing about necessarily, maybe Apple is mentioned in the article. I like these candles, these 5-minute candles on Apple. I would be looking to see, is this an actual level? And it is. It's a 30-minute fair value gap. So there's probably a lot of buyers in this zone over here. And so you go to the 5-minute, it has put in a kangaroo tail and then another kangaroo tail. On the break of the high of that kangaroo tail could be a buy signal, but it would have to be obvious. You'd have to see the punch up. And personally, I'd prefer to buy if it was above the 263.15. I'd like to see what level we're at too on the cam pivots. There you go. It's S4. That could be a good buying signal. But again, I'd like to see it punch up. I'd be looking at price action because these are very bearish candles. The sellers are in control over here. So you'd have to see a lot of buyers stepping in before going long over here. And we're not seeing it right now. I don't like the fact that it just punched up a tiny bit, trapped some people that might be going long over here, and we're selling again. So interesting price action on Apple.
We were talking earlier.
Sorry, go ahead, Tara.
Sorry, Joe. We were talking earlier. I was telling the guys, like today I came in with the bearish mindset because for the last couple of, since the fire stopped and things started, the negotiations and all of these things, we've been going up really fast, really fast with no pullbacks. We managed to make an all-time high on the MNQ in the overnight session.
Yeah.
So I came in with, I'm in a short at MNQ.
Yeah.
But I came in with a little bit, not bearish, but just like a little bit deeper pullback.
Yeah.
And even gold is pulling back also.
I would not be surprised to see a pullback. I had exactly the same thesis there, Tarek. That's why I put the fibs like this. This is where we started selling. I wasn't really paying attention to these fibs over here. By the way, this was another trade that worked over here. I wasn't paying attention to the fact that we were buying. The most recent price action was selling. So that's why I set the fibs over here and then brought them down to the low of pre-market over here. Once it punched back into the 50% zone, I took a 3R trade that worked. And I'm glad that it was quick in and out, because look at what happened. Right at the open, we went out and took out all the stops of whoever might have taken this short over here, right? That's why I don't like the first half hour. Look at it.
I took the short where you mentioned, and I got picked out.
Yeah, it's, you know what? That's I'm still developing my rules, because I'm getting back into futures after being out for a while, and even in the past, I wouldn't trade it in pre-market. And so this is new to me, trading it in pre-market, but I like the price action. I make sure to get out before the 30-minute, before the first 30-minute of live action. This is where all the volume comes in. This is where you're going to see some wicks. But after 10 a.m., things slow down, and we often pick a direction. So now, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interject. Big drop on the SPY and Qs.
Yeah, we're seeing it on MNQ here.
A lot of selling.
SPY.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. That's what we do. It's yes, I was a teacher, but you don't need to raise your hand. I'm not I wouldn't even see it if somebody raised their hands. I think it makes an audible sound, though.
Wow, that is a huge red bar in the 5-minute. I mean, really big.
Yeah.
What does anyone know about a news drop on this?
I don't know. Let's see. Did Truth Social put something in here?
I'm going to check out the SPY and see.
So this is actually good for my thesis. This is what I'm going to do now. So now that I've put away the tools that I had in pre-market, this was the impulse move, right? This is where we started selling. So I'm going to start a fib here. And I don't know where to stop it, because we haven't started buying yet. But if we do, or not if, it's going to happen that it's going to reverse at some point, that's where I'll put my bottom. And I will put an alert near the 50, because right now sellers are in control. Over the last 25 minutes, the sellers are in control. So if we were to start punching up, I'd want to be alerted once we get back to this area. And wouldn't it be convenient if it was this area right here? PDC, pre-market low, yesterday high, right up here. I would not be surprised to see this come back in this area and reload for the continuation. So that's what I'm looking at for MNQ as well as MES. MES, so 5-minute MES.
Hey, Gilles.
Yeah.
And sorry to interject. I've just read the SPY. So this drop during that last big red candle print. Drug makers raised prices on hundreds of drugs despite Trump deals. Senate Democrats report fines on NBC News. So I wonder if that was just the algos responding to that news story.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe. If it was, then my short thesis would be going, okay, well, that's not news that is going to affect the SPY that much. So if it were that, then I'd be going, okay, are we actually selling? But like Tarek was saying, this has been on the daily here, even I can go on the weekly, this has been an incredible reversal, right? At some point, there's going to be profit taking. And if there's a little bit of panic in that profit taking, as in people are selling, we're seeing it go down, then we could see somewhat of a significant drop. Again, that's just the way that I see it. I'm as far as investments are concerned, I don't care. They're long term. As far as trades are concerned, I'm going to trade the chart that's in front of me. But after this move up, historically, is what I'm trying to say. Historically, it's very likely that there's going to be a pullback. How strong that pullback is or how deep that pullback is, who knows? It could honestly just be going back to all-time high. Right? All-time high was right here on the daily was 697.84. So we broke out of it. We might just be retesting this for the continuation higher. right? Hamza, what did you take? Somebody said nice trade, but it must have been something you guys were discussing before 9:30, maybe.
Yeah, Hamza was long crude oil, MCL, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's listening to us. He can talk about it. But
Yeah. That's and I wouldn't be surprised if people put it on mute. What did I want to see? I wanted to see, is this the low?
Hamza's having lunch.
What's that? Eating lunch? Yeah, depending. It's very cool that it's everybody's at different time zones, right? For me, I'm in the Eastern time zone, so I'm in market time zone. What I know some of you is early morning for people on the West Coast, and what later on in the evening? What, 9 hours Dubai? 9 hours ahead of us, I think.
Yeah, it's almost 6 now, 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Yeah. So 10 hours. No, 8 hours.
I get confused with the daylight savings and stuff like that.
Is right. Yeah, it was not. You guys don't change at all, right?
We don't change.
Yeah, it was 9 hours before we went ahead 1 hour. So now it's 8. Yeah. So
I just watch with New York time on my Apple Watch. That's it.
yeah, it would be cool to be able to trade. I like the I'm so used to waking up early in the morning. I start looking at the markets early. I do my workout early. So I like our time zone. I despise our winters though. So that's I would love Dubai for that. That's for sure. I was talking about putting in the fibs here. So I put the fibs where we started selling. Right, we started selling just as the market opened. Right, we punched up, and then it's like, nope, we want to sell. So that's where I started, and then just on this candle was where I was talking about. I put on the low of that candle. So that for now is the low. If this remains the low, and it is 10 a.m. now, then I want to be alerted once we get back really close. I don't want to be alerted right down here because I don't want to see it when I'm down here. When I want to see it, does it come close to the 50? So there you go. That's what I'm looking at for the possibility of a continuation short, right? That's a breakdown. It retested already. Coming back down, will it retest for the continuation lower? Sorry, I don't know. There we go. Same thing with the MES. MES on the 5. Let me get rid of these drawings here. Again, impulse move started up here. So we started selling at pre-market high, possibly reversing here. I'd like to know if and when it comes back into this area. That's somebody was asking about TradingView earlier. As far as TradingView for charting and alerts and tools and indicators, I've been trading a long time. There is nothing better than TradingView. As far as entries and actual trading, I have only used it for swing trading equities. I have not started trading my own account on. Let me just get rid of this. There we go. I have not started trading my own account on futures using TradingView. But I believe that's what Avi is using. And from paper trading, it seems to be working very well. I will start taking positions shortly on TradingView. Am I still in replay here? What's going on? No. Okay, why is this? There we go. Okay, so I'm not in replay. These are big, massive candles and a lot of buying. So what's going to happen over here? Hopefully it doesn't happen too quickly and wick up, but over the next little while, if it comes in and wicks into this area and then we see a rejection, then for me, this would be a short. With these long candles here, I would likely be wanting to put my stop above the 61.8. Just because there's been these very big candles. I don't want to have a really tight stop when these candles are massive. And I might just stay out. By the end of the day, I took 2 trades this morning. I'm green. I might just stay away. What's going on with AMD? AMD breakout, retesting this area. That's on a 5-minute, putting in a 5-minute somewhat bullish candle. I say somewhat because it's got a little bit of a wick on top. And then putting in a reverse hammer here in an area of a fair value gap. Right? So if somebody had gone long here, they might get trapped. But this does look like a nice pattern for a break and retest.
I was watching INTC. I was considering getting in, but I didn't. Geez, always I didn't like this massive drop, and the last 5-minute candle printed green and closed above VWAP, and I was just about to get in, but I couldn't read the market.
Yeah.
So I stayed out, but I was watching this current massive green candle information. It was red. It formed a higher low, and I was thinking I would get in, but my strategy is to wait for the candle to close. I don't want to make a decision while the candle is still in play. So that's kind of my rule. And so I was like, oh, there goes that ship. I don't know. We'll see. But
and like we say all the time, I mean, there are thousands of different stocks and ETFs, and there's so many opportunities. And you're going to miss some, and that's okay. On the 1 minute, I do not see an entry here. On the 2 minute, I don't see an entry. These are big, long wicks. We do seem to have a buyer around this area, right? But the buy on the 2 minute would be above this bullish candle right here. So on the break higher, but then you're looking at quite a stop, right? You pretty much have to put your stop either below the candle for an aggressive stop. More conservative would be below the lowest wick. Getting up to high of day, and you're only at 1 hour, right? So might work. I'll leave it on here just to see if it gets to 3. And again, 3 is just one of my rules. There you go.
This thing's gonna bust out for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I want to do is can I show my screen for a second?
Absolutely.
So on
watch this. There we go.
INTC. Let me know when it comes clear on your end.
What time frame is that?
5-minute chart.
5 minute. Thank you. It's it's still a little bit blurry.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me try to reshare real quick.
Harry, thank you. I'm not quite sure what you were saying that helps. 10:02 is 5 minutes ago. I'm glad it could help, but don't hesitate if you have something you want to say. Get on the mic, or if you have questions, you can put it in the chat. I lost it. Did you take it off, Evo?
Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
Is that working now?
It's working, but it's blurry. But like I said, it takes 10-15 seconds, and then it gets clear again. Here, and MES. Just going to leave this on the screen if anybody's watching MES or MNQ. Those are the only 2 I'm interested in right now. It is clear now, Evo.
Okay.
It's clearer. It's not perfect, but now it's perfect.
All
Just
right.
Okay.
So we had this nice initial pop at the beginning. I threw a fib on it, and it came down to the 50% level. And ideally, what I want to do, and as you can notice, the selling volume was decreasing, and the candle body sizes were decreasing as well. So I like that. It came the fib level on this 5-minute candle, and it bounced. Ideally, my ideal entry is on a red candle on something like this, where the distance between the close and the low is really small, and I can load the boat with a lot of shares.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. I mean, you could be maxing out your margin account or something. But I have to further my trade book because they're always kind of wiki you out, and I don't have any other level that I could see at this low immediately that would have told me, oh, that should be my stop, or just a little bit below that.
Well, the 50 is a really good point of I think that's why a lot of buyers got in there. A lot of buyers and a lot of sellers too, depending on the direction, look at the 50. It's the halfway point. It's a measured move halfway between the top and bottom. First target would be the other edge, and then the next target would be 50% further.
Yeah, it's hard for me to. There's this level around 65.52, right around there in the pre-market. So it's hard for me to understand if I were to get in on a red candle, which I would love to do, where my stop is and how much share size.
Yeah.
That's like everything. Like, okay, I like to get in on these kind of candles, but I haven't quite figured that out yet, because that's where it's kind of like, if you notice, you get an inverted candle and then boom, you get the big green. Well, what happened? Why did this happen? Because the risk was so small, and you could load the boat with shares. And then, I mean, if you took this trade here, I mean, this is probably like, if you rolled it up to here, that's probably like a 15-20 yard trade, right? That's what I want, but I just don't know yet how to.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, Evo. I was just, if somebody's paying attention on my screen, I was just trying to say that it's really shaping up as a double top right now. And even though we were chopping around there earlier, because it has come from an area of much lower, it has been over the last few days coming up from a lower area. This is my setup for a double top short. Now the CPP, as far as the pivots are concerned, the short would have been just under R4, and I'd be aiming for PDC here. So that's just another thesis. If I were long over here, once I saw that we could not make a new high and we started reversing, I'd probably get out of my long, just because this is showing the opposite entry as to what my position is in. Right. So, and again, not a prediction. It might not be a double top and might not be selling, but it could. And so if you had your entry, you would have had what your entry would have been. I think you said like a 10R already, right? So that's why you got to take your profits.
Yeah, near the high.
Yeah.
So see, I could have taken that long, and then you could have taken that short. But what I don't like that for short, I mean, this last 5-minute candle that printed red.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long wick. That's the issue.
That's a bullish candle.
Huh?
That's a bullish candle. This long
on the
wick.
5-minute chart.
Yeah. It's not the most bullish candle, but I consider this a bullish candle because there were a lot. Let me get this out of here. There you go. Because there is a lot of buying here. We wicked down, right? And then we continued buying, right? Yes, it did close over here. Like I said, it's not as bullish as if it was green, but it's somewhat of a bullish candle.
Oh, you're looking at a 2-minute chart, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the 2-minute. Yeah.
Check out the 5-minute chart. So if you're
The last
5-minute
5-minute was very bearish. Yeah.
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 And so for me, it's too much of a wick, right? There's too much. You'd have to reduce your share size to accommodate that wick, your risk.
Yeah. Hold the boat. This is a liquid. It could be, I gotta watch my words. It could be a liquidity sweep on the 2-minute on MNQ, right? I was looking at it, my alert went off. I started looking at it. Now we just punched up really quickly over here. If this were to close near the low, bearish, and make a new low, I would potentially want to go in. But your stop conservatively would have to be above that wick. Right? So, yeah, I don't know. Don't know what to do here. If the selling was really obvious, so I want to see what does it do at 26,350. Right, that was a lot of volume over here, but what was it doing? Was it taking out the shorts that went in short over here? Maybe. So, but this is, I don't like that it went above the 61.8, but it was a rejection, right? It swept up there and then came back down. So in this area is where I'm going to pay attention. Right? What did MES do? Same wick. Right, MES, I'm on a 5-minute, but on the 2-minute, right, it wicked up. MNQ. Yeah, what are people saying? There's no market moving news. From what I can see, I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a volatility algo, yeah, and it tests both sides of the overnight move. Yeah, it could. But I think we're overbought. Not that I ever trade that, but I would not be surprised to see some profit taking. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback. So that's what I'm kind of expecting. But I'm still trading my pattern, right? We were selling. We hit buyers. This is the golden zone. What does it do in this zone? This is all I want to do is pay attention. What am I missing here?
Yeah, I can't get a read of the market, so I think I'm going to kind of walk away for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, and I don't like that massive red candle on the SPY and Qs. I don't know. Something just tells me to kind of wait a while, see what shakes out.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad move.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely at a point now where I'm curious to see what happens here. Right, we punched down. Are we really selling?
Did you get into anything?
I did not. I'm looking at it. I got my finger on the trigger here to go short, but I'm not liking the price action. So, right, and the fact that it's hesitating right now, I'm not crazy about it. Nah, there's a move. So, yeah, it's this really long wick here that made me hesitate. But let's see. What if I'd probably just put it about the 61.8. 3R, you'd have to be looking at S3 over here. And there we go. So let's see. What if what would have happened if I had gotten short there? That's where I would love to be able to make it 100% mechanical, like an algo. You know, no decisions, just the pattern shows up and you get in. The pattern did not perfectly show up for me because it went outside of the zone It closed green. Then we messed around a little bit over here. But then the price action showed that, yeah, we're selling right now. So this is likely to work. On the 1 minute would have been better. Yeah, on the 1 minute, right over here, right there, with the stop right above here. Would have been a little bit closer. There you go. So 1 minute entry here would have worked, or sorry, could have worked. We don't know yet. It's going in the right direction. MES on the 2 minute printed green. On the 1 minute, right, you want to wait for a bearish candle. It's not really a bearish candle. I guess the entry would have been below this bullish candle right here. So on ES would have been over here. And again, stop, conservative stop needs to be above the wick. And you're going pretty far to get to 3R. So I'm going to wait. It could mess around down here and then come back into this zone and reject again. So I might be able to get an entry a little bit later on. Teric gold might be setting up. Whoa, I've got way too many drawings on here. So gold, let's look here. We started selling at the market. I had this line for 4-hour support, and look at how we wicked into it. Let's put the fibs over here and here. Yeah, wicked in. So on the 2 minute, see this one, had I been paying attention, I would have liked. Wicked into it, then wicked into it again. Short on the new low right here. Stop above the wick. Aim for 3R. I do not like that 3R is below that 4-hour support. So I'm not sure I would have taken this. Let's just leave the drawing there just to see. That's why I put this on here, because if you go to the 4-hour chart, you see that it touched there a few times. Right? We've got support, even yesterday touched it again. Now we've gone underneath it and grabbed liquidity, possibly. Could be, it definitely could be support. But if it fails this support, then it becomes a resistance, possibly. So there you go. Nothing for me right now. Declining volume here. Apple start buying? No, we're still in this area. INTC.
I wonder if we're forming a higher low in the Qs right now on the 5-minute chart. Same with the SPY.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like that's kind of my pattern. It finds the low of the day, it bounces. We get an inverted hammer, kind of near VWAP with, you know, a bit of a northern wick.
Yeah.
We did a bit of a sell-off. Just kind of interesting.
Yeah. If you're saying it's buying, then you can put a fib from the buying. Right, from over here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And we are in, or we touched into the golden zone, 61.8, and continuing. So, yeah, hard to tell. It's not an exact science, and that's the fun part and the difficult part. This over here, I was saying, was on a 5-minute. I don't know if it was on here, but I'll just say it again. This is a bearish candle. Even though it closed green, it wicked up above all these levels. And then on the break below here would be a short. Naked Forex calls this a trendy kangaroo tail. because we're selling. The impulse move is selling. We're coming back in. We're wicking up, taking out some stops above this 5-minute high, right? We just wicked above it, and then we were selling. Close green, it's not ideal. I don't necessarily enter on this, but if I were short, it's somewhere where I will sometimes add with equities. I will sometimes add and bring my stop to break even if I'm not already at 3R. And so just explaining what I sometimes do with a candle like this. The fact that it printed green is not ideal. But it's a bearish pattern, right? We're selling, retracing, possibly selling again. A few more minutes before I log out.
Yeah, the SPY has a bit of a deeper pullback on the fibs. That's around the 78% level right now, and the Qs are dancing around the 61% level. It'll be interesting to see in the 5-minute chart in the next 30 seconds if we get a green closure, but it seems like the sellers are still in control.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
selling
this-
below 636.12 here, below this candle right here, we could absolutely see momentum.
Oh, flipping green.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what it's going to do?
Mm.
MNQ, that short right now is working. MES, it's in the green. Don't like that it's got to go below low day, but it can very well go below the low day. And then that gold trade that lined up even better could work as well. What's the oil doing? Is it doing the opposite? Let's get out a replay. Let's remove these drawings. There you go. So the impulse on oil was buying right at the open here. Let's put a 5-minute. So at the open, we're buying. So from the open to where it is right now, right? This is not necessarily the top. It just is right now. I would move it to where we start reversing, and I would like to be alerted. Set an alert right now, and then I'll just move it if this needs to move. But I'd like to be alerted for the continuation up. If it comes back down or retraces into the golden zone. SPY, that's incredibly tight. Here we go. And remove this drawing. There we go. Hopefully nobody's getting dizzy looking at this this chart. There you go. So we were selling. The impulse was to sell. This is was the bottom, retraced into the golden zone. Short. Oops, wrong tool. Short from this area. Stop right above PDC is more aggressive. 3R is right here. There you go. So yeah, these golden zones don't only work on futures. They work. See you later, Tarek.
See you, Tarek, and see you, Joe. I'm going to sign off.
You're heading out? Okay.
Check in later.
All right. See you later. See you later.
Adios,
Right,
muchachos.
Yeah, I'm going to be walking out in about 2 minutes anyway. Just to finish what I was saying, that the golden zone, the 50% retracement is a highly probable trade. If you can tell where the impulse is going right now from the open, we were selling. We can tell with this massive candle here. And then this was the low. So where to place this part of the fib, I find very easy. It's where to start it that is often it depends on judgment. But over here, you started at the high of the open, right? High of the first 5-minute candle. Stop it over here, retrace to the 50% zone, put in a bearish candle, and short from there. What works even more often is if you wait for selling. If you look, once you go in with bigger size, you can aim very easily, very consistently for 1 hour. But it's hard to make money with 1 hour unless you are highly consistent, and this one is highly consistent. I think somebody was saying that with back testing, I think it was Amal that was saying with back testing, I think he was at 80% just on MNQ. But anyway, that's the breakdown and the retest. It's just another way of looking at it, or the breakout and retest. If we're looking at NMCL here, right? We're buying. Are we going to come and retest the 50% zone for the continuation long? Maybe. That's why I've got an alert set over here. The MNQ trade, coming back now into, and that's quite the wick here, coming back into break even. So, you probably would have been up 1.5 hour over here, and then people will get out of their trade here, right? But if you leave it, if you say to yourself that by getting into this trade, it's either -1 or +3, right? That's one strategy. That often works, but it's hard on psychology. So that being said, it's 10:30, and what are we over here? It's 10:30, so I'm gonna walk out of here. Don't know if anybody else is coming on today. If any of these drawings work out, or if I do take a live trade, I will share it in the trade screenshots, and I will document it so that we can talk about it tomorrow. So thanks again for being there, everyone. And if you have questions, comments, please don't hesitate to put it in the chat during the time that I'm here, or send me a DM. Okay, cheers. Have a great day, everyone.